Welcome, sweet friends, to the channel Frugal Money Saver. My name is Emmy, my husband is Paul, and we are so happy you have joined us today. Today's video, we are going to not only talk about some old-fashioned ways to save money, but we're also going to demonstrate some. How to darn a hole in your sock. We're going to show you a new tool that Paul got for the compost. Well, it's actually a used tool because we bought it at a tag sale, but it's something new to us to help with our compost pile. We're going to show you how to take a half a pound of ground beef and stretch it to feed at least 4 people in a one-pot meal. And we're also going to give you an update on our homemade vinegar and orange cleaner we made. So just sit back, relax, and we hope this video is encouraging. First thing we want to do is thank you so much for all the prayers for Paul's dad. He is home. He is doing great. Matter of fact, this Sunday we will be at their home celebrating my mother-in-law's 90th birthday. So thank you so much for all the prayers and the kind words you sent. He's doing really well. Let's get right into this video. The first old-fashioned tip we want to show you is how to darn a hole in your sock. Paul had a pair of socks and the heel had a little bit of a hole. So we thought this would be a great way to show you how to do it the old-fashioned way. I am not a seamstress, so please be kind. Those of you who sew and sew well, you're going to probably say, what? But this is a really simple, easy fix to get a little bit more wear out of it before you turn it into a rag. So let's turn this camera around and get to sewing. It's great to talk about all these old-fashioned frugal things, but I thought it would be really great to show you some as well. Paul has got a little tiny hole in the heel of his sock, and I'm going to show you how to darn a sock today. Now, I am no expert, but I can mend a hole. I don't have a darning egg, but you can use a round glass jelly jar, a tennis ball, anything that's got that round curve to it. You're going to need a rubber band, and you're going to need some good thread and a needle. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this sock, turn it inside out, which is going to show us the pattern of the weave a little bit better. Now we're going to take it and we're going to put it on our jelly glass. If you are using glass, be careful. I am using yellow thread just so it shows up a little bit better, but the stitches of the sock go this way and they go that way. So what we want to do is kind of weave those stitches together. So I am going to try to make a square around this hole just to reinforce it. So I am going to go up and under these little threads around the hole of the sock. And you're going to continue past it just a little. Like I said, you're going to want to make a square. And then I'm going to turn it this way as close as I can get to that last stitch. We're going to do the same. Under and over, under and over, just as if you're weaving. Keep it relaxed, keep it loose. And I will continue this side and then I'll show you what to do next. So you can see I want to cross this way. Now what I'm going to do is go this way, north to south, the same exact way. And now we're going to start under, over. And we're going to do this straight across this way now. Just like I said before, like we're weaving. As close together as you possibly can. And I just wanted to show you, you're using the yellow thread to go over and under where the hole was. You're doing a basket weave. And you can see how this is coming together. Now I'm just going to continue filling in the basket weave till it's nice and tight. So here we go. I just tied it off and you can see the little weave pattern on it. And of course it looks a little messy because it is in yellow, because I wanted you all to see what it looked like. Here is the outside of it. Again, if it was in black thread, you wouldn't even see it, but Paul can get much more use out of this sock now. What's nice about using this weave to fill a hole is that it's nice and smooth. Paul won't have a bump on the bottom of his heel when he walks, and it won't be uncomfortable. So there you go. Look at that. You saw that hole in the beginning. So just a quick tip to make our socks last a little longer. Instead of turning them right into rags, see if you can get a little bit more use out of them. What we love about sewing a hole that way is no bump in your heel. If you just were to sew it quickly, you could end up with some material in a bunch, and then when you walk, you would constantly feel it. So this way, when you weave it, it comes out nice and smooth. And again, you're saving it from becoming a rag and having to buy new socks. Now, the second old-fashioned tip we want to show you is making your own homemade cleaning products. And that's what we did about a month ago in a video. And I will link that video below and also at the end of this video, and you can click on it and see how we made our cleaner. But we're going to show you the cleaner now after a month has gone by, how it's set up. And the quirky cleaning cloth we use that has been working wonderfully to clean our bathrooms, get the walls shiny, get that soap scum off. So let's turn this camera around and we're going to do some cleaning.
If you remember a while back, we made a vinegar and orange peel solution by putting orange peels in a jar and filling it with just plain white vinegar, sealing it and putting it in a dark place under our sink for 2 weeks. And we'll link that video down below. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decant some of this, just the vinegar, into this bottle that we purchased at a dollar store. And I'm just going to use it for cleaning up around the house. So let's get started. So I'm just going to put some of this vinegar into this jar. Use a 1-to-1 ratio of water mixed to your vinegar solution. Now remember, you cannot consume this. Do not drink it. Do not spray it on food. This is strictly for cleaning around your house. And the other thing you need to watch out for is it is an eye irritant. So wear safety glasses when using this spray. Also, use in a well-ventilated area. If you're cleaning your bathroom with it, open the doors, turn on the fan, open the windows. Now don't reuse the peels, add them right to your compost. They make great compost. I'm using my microfiber cloth. You can feel when it's clean because it becomes very smooth. And that's it.
I just want to show you what we clean with in the bathroom. This is a microfiber cloth called Erase Your Face. It is a makeup remover cloth, and we bought a bunch of them on Amazon, and we use them all over the house to clean with. Yeah, they are incredible. You rinse them, you can throw them in the washing machine. They are great. Yeah, it's a basic makeup remover cloth. And I'll tell you, to clean with, they are amazing. I have my Vanna White here. Our bathroom is nice and clean and smells fresh. As with any new cleaner you're using, make sure you test it on an inconspicuous spot, just to make sure it agrees with whatever you're cleaning. And after you're done using that wonderful orange vinegar cleaner, just rinse the area down. You want to make sure you just take some fresh warm water and rinse it down. This way there's no residue left. And also, I wouldn't use this on grout because I'm not sure if the orange color would possibly seep into the grout. So be careful with that. It is a wonderful homemade cleaner that has a multitude of uses. Check out the video on how we made it, and that will answer a lot of your questions. Now we're going to get outside. Another great old-fashioned frugal tip is our composter. Paul got a new tool at a tag sale not too long ago, and we're going to show you how we use it, how our compost is doing now that winter is over, because a lot of people think you shouldn't compost in the winter, and that's not true. And then we're going to lead right into what we got for free to help us with our garden this summer. So let's turn the camera around and we're going to get outside in this beautiful 60-degree weather we're having. Here you go.
Okay, back to the compost. Let's see what it looks like.
As soon as Paul took the lid off, I don't know if you saw it, but all these little flies came out, which is wonderful.
What I'm doing now is I'm actually turning the compost over. And I used to use a pitchfork for this, and I found this device. It's a compost tool at a flea market. I think I paid $1 for it. It has these metal flaps that fold up when you push down, but then they open up when you pull up. And what that does is that turns the soil. So if you watch, I can push this down and I twist it down as far as I can go. Work it in there, then pull straight up. The tabs open up, and there it is.
Look at the color of that.
Oh, this soil is going to be great. Don't forget now, if you have a compost pile, no fat, no bones, no plastic, no glass. You just want to use organic scraps and mix it with some soil. Definitely don't want to put any kind of meat scrap in here either. No meat, no cheese. Eggshells are great, adds calcium to the soil. Look at that soil. Yeah, you want air to get to your compost soil. You also want flies, you want worms, everything in there that breaks this stuff down into dirt. And that's all natural. Actually, in the wintertime, you can feel this is warm. There's actually heat generated from this thing because it's just working beautifully, and it makes incredible soil. You're not using chemicals. If you watched our past videos, you know that we do a lot of container gardening around the house. And since it's getting time to start container gardening, it's time to break out the containers. Now this container we've used over and over again for years. They came from a local pharmacy and they have Valentine's flowers in them. So when Valentine's Day was over, they were going to throw these in the trash. So we managed to get some. And what I did was I drilled holes in the bottom for drainage, and we used these. Well, this Valentine's Day was great because we got 15 more. So check your stores, check your pharmacies, find out what they do with these things. You pass by them every time you go in the grocery store. There's always a little flower shop. What happens when the plants die? What do they do with this? They throw them in the trash. Take them home and use them. The plastic that's used on this has a number 5 in a little triangle. It's very hard to see here, which means you can use this to grow food. So this is a perfect container. It was going in the trash, 15 more containers. I don't even know what we have out there, but we're gonna have a garden that's gonna be unbelievable.
And the best part is also they're black, and the black really absorbs the heat of the sun and warms up the roots of those plants beautifully. And all in all, how much did it cost to get these?
Zero.
Frugal win. By composting all year long, even through the winter, that will break down. The heat that is generated in there, like Paul said, slowly breaks the matter down into this wonderful, rich fertilizer. And you're not having to use chemicals. This is really natural, really great, and you're making it yourself with household scraps. So we encourage you, if you have not started a compost yet, go ahead and do it. And what about those wonderful free containers? Ask your local bakery for containers that icing comes in or cake batter comes in. They are usually happy to give them to you because they usually just throw them away. So don't be afraid to ask. The only thing we encourage you to do is check the number on the bottom and make sure it is a food-safe container to grow vegetables in. Now what we're going to do is get into the kitchen for our final old-fashioned frugal tip. We literally have 8 ounces of ground beef and we are going to turn it into a mouth-watering one-pot meal, which I love because there's not a lot of dirty dishes then, and it can easily feed 4 people really well. So let's turn this camera around one more time and get into the kitchen. You're going to need about a half a pound, which is 8 ounces, of ground beef that you're going to brown, and then you're going to drain all the fat out. While our ground beef is frying up, I'm going to show you the rest of the ingredients you're going to need. About 2 cups, I'm using egg noodles, but you could use elbow macaroni, something like that, something that'll cook fairly quickly. I will link the original recipe down below, but I did tweak it. I cut back on the dairy a lot. It called for 2 cups of shredded cheese, but I think that is way too much, and we're just using 1 cup. And then it called for half a cup of sour cream, and I'm using a 1/4 cup of sour cream. And we'll let you know if those modifications work out. 1 teaspoon of hot sauce, and that is optional. A tablespoon of ketchup. Teaspoon of good mustard. I've got some Dijon whole grain here. Little bit of pepper to taste. Teaspoon of garlic powder. Teaspoon of onion powder. And then some salt to taste. That's it. And wait till you see how easy this is. 1 pan frugal meal. Our ground beef is all browned and I drained the fat. Now I'm going to add our 2 cups of pasta. Then I'm going to add 3.5 cups of water. Now if you want to use broth you can, but we're keeping this economical tonight. And then I'm going to take all our seasonings and all that yumminess and we're going to put it right in. I'm going to take this all and mix it together. If you notice, we didn't add any of the dairy yet. I'm going to turn this up to medium, and the pan has to be covered. So we're going to bring this to a boil and let it simmer at a low boil 10 to 12 minutes, and we'll check to make sure the pasta is tender. So this cooked for all of 10 minutes. Because I used egg noodles, it cooked super quick. I just removed the cover and I tasted the noodles and they were cooked. Now, if you are using macaroni like elbows, it may take a little while longer. Now I'm going to turn this off and I am going to take my sour cream and we're going to mix this in. And now we're going to add our cup of cheddar cheese. And the reason I didn't add a ton of salt was because the cheese is salty. We're using a sharp cheddar, and this recipe will definitely work better if you grate the cheese and not use the pre-shredded. Now I am going to put the heat on low again because this seems like there's a bit too much water. And I want to cook it down just a little bit. What we decided we're going to do, we took about, I don't know, 1.5 cups of frozen mixed vegetables. You could use canned. And I ran them under some hot water. And we've just taken our faux hamburger helper up a notch. And we're just going to heat those vegetables through on a very low heat now. This came together beautifully. We took a half a pound of ground beef and we just made enough food for at least 4 people, if not more. Pair it with a side green salad or even some cucumber, carrot, and celery sticks, maybe with some ranch dressing. Perfect, hearty, one-pot meal. Look at all this food with a half a pound of ground beef and some economical ingredients. And we even cut back all the dairy on this as well. We had been working outside all day when I made that meal, so Paul did not want to come on camera, but how did you like it?
I really loved it. It was a great meal to have after a day outside working out there, and it is definitely Paul approved. And you could mix anything you want into that meal. You could really bulk it up a lot. There's a lot you could do with it, so try it out. It's really good.
I will tell you, I think there was a little too much water in the original recipe. I would cut it back by a half a cup, or you can do like we do, use the 3.5 cups of liquid and then just cook it down a little bit, which is what we ended up doing. And if you don't want to use ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken. It will be wonderful. Add as much or as little spices as you'd like. You control the sodium. There's no artificial anything like in some of those box mixes of Hamburger Helper. Add whatever vegetables. You could add a can of corn, all really inexpensive ways to take that half a pound of ground beef and stretch it. And it was really yummy. We hope these old-fashioned skills were helpful. We hope they encouraged you. We hope it just got your creative ideas going on how you can save money by incorporating some of these old-fashioned skills into your modern day. Today's question of the day: are you finding yourself with the high prices and with inflation and with everything else that's going on out there, going back to simpler ways, taking up some of these old-fashioned skills that maybe you weren't even doing a year ago or so? I know we've been doing a lot of use it up, make do, or do without for sure. Because even though we may have the money to go out and buy those new socks, or we have the money to go buy a new composter tool like Paul has, why? Let's save that money for things that we really need or things that we really want to spend our money on. If you can get something cheaper or do something cheaper, why not? Just because we have the money doesn't mean we automatically have to go out and spend that money. That is what being frugal is all about. Using your money on what you want to use it for. So tell us down below how you have been reusing, how you have been making do, or how you've been doing without. Please share that down below with us because I know that will be a super encouragement to us all. So we thank you for spending this time with us. We ask that you give this video a big thumbs up. It helps us so much. Hit that subscribe button. Come on in and be part of our frugal family. We ask you to be well. We ask you to be safe. And above all, we wish you blessings. Until our next video, may God greatly bless you.